So product of a sum and a difference. So this is what is inside the two parentheses is exactly the same, but one is adding. So one is plus and the other is minus, it's subtracting. So if you look at numbers 1 through 8, every single set of parentheses is identical except for one's got a plus, one's got a minus. So what happens is whenever I multiply these out, so remember this is what we practiced yesterday or last class, x times x is x squared. X times negative 5 is minus 5x. 5 times x is plus 5x. 5 times negative 5 is minus 25. And remember, we always look at the two terms and see if we have like terms, those two middle terms. And we do on this one. And because one's positive 5, the other's negative 5, when you add those two together, you get 0, so it cancels them. So this just becomes x squared minus 25. Okay? So let's look at the next one. X times x, which is x squared. 6 times negative x minus 6x. Six times x plus 6x, and 6 times negative 6 minus 36. Again, whenever I look at my middle terms, they cancel because they're the exact same, but one's positive, one's negative. So I get x squared minus 36. Hopefully you've already noticed the pattern because it's a super easy pattern to notice. Because all of these have the same exact thing in the parentheses, but one's a plus and one's a minus. Every time I do my outer and my inner multiplication, they get the same number but opposite signs. And if they're the same number and opposite signs, they will cancel. So when you see these, if you notice the shortcut, you can say, oh, that's just x squared minus 4, because I know the two middle terms cancel. Now, if you don't see the shortcut, you're going to do it like numbers 1 and 2, where you're going to multiply it out and be like, oh, that's right, they cancel, and then you're fine. It doesn't matter. But if you see the shortcut, you are more than welcome to go straight to the answer. Go do 4 through 8. Remember, when we have x squared times x squared, that's x to the what power? X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. So don't forget that number 8's a little different because of that.
So if it's like 3x times.
So formula for the product of a sum and a difference is if you have two things that are the same, you square the first, and then you subtract the square of the second. So you square the first and the second, and it's a subtraction. So if I was using our shortcut formula to multiply without doing the math, x plus 7 times x minus 7 is going to be what? Square the first, x squared, minus square the second, 49.
That's it?
Yeah. So how about the next one? What's 3x squared, or 3x times 3x? 9x squared minus, and then 5 times 5. 25. So again, if you see the shortcut, it makes it a little easier. You can do this really fast. If you don't and you FOIL it out, it's no big deal. It's not wrong. Okay, binomial squared. It means that the two parentheses are exactly the same. So you have a plus b squared, which is the same thing as saying a plus b times a plus b, okay? What I want you to do when you see something like 1 through 4, the very first thing I want you to do is rewrite it. Because if you don't, the chances of you making a mistake and getting it wrong are very high. Now, once you've done this, you FOIL. So x times x is x squared. X times 3, 3 times x, 3x, and 3 times 3, 9. So we get x squared plus 6x plus 9. I'm going to jump down and do 3, and then I'm going to have you do 2 and 4 on your own. So what's the first thing I'm going to do on number 3? X minus 4 times x minus 4. I'm going to rewrite it. And now, what's x times x? X squared. What's x times negative 4? Minus 4x. How about negative 4 times x? And then negative 4 times negative 4 is? Positive 16. Both negatives. So then this becomes x squared minus 8x plus 16. All right, go do number 2 and 4, and then I'll write the answers up there for you. Do you notice a pattern? What do you notice? They're always the same. Look at your final answer and your original problem. Do you notice a pattern on that?
The middle is the thing that
Numbers 1, 2, and 3, you'll be able to notice it a lot faster than number 4. It's the same pattern, but you may not see it as easily on number 4.
It's just the times 2.
Very good. Why do you think it's just times 2? Because you're adding it twice, right? So if you notice that, the reason why we talk about the pattern is I actually do not recommend that you memorize this formula. Like, I actually want you working it out, but when you get into algebra 2, at that point, I'm going to tell you, hey, you probably should memorize this. Just because it makes it easier when you're multiplying it out. You don't have to stop and think. You can just do it like that. But if you look at the formula, this is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And then if it's a minus, you just subtract the 2ab. So if you look at this, look at number 4, for example. This one times itself, 4x squared. This times this is 6 times 2 is 12. This one squared, 9. So that's where the pattern comes into play if you're looking at it. But again, I actually do not recommend that you memorize it, but it's nice to see. And then when you get to algebra 2, we usually encourage you to memorize it just because you use it so frequently. But what I want you to be able to do is be able to remember, first thing you have to do is rewrite it like this so that you can do that problem correctly. Because if you don't rewrite it, I can almost promise that you're going to get it wrong. Okay? It's not a 100% guarantee, but it's like a 97% guarantee because of the number of students that I've taught over the years, and that's like one of the number one mistakes that they make. All right, here's another one. There will be one question on your quiz. There will be one question on your test like this, okay? It's basically like a 3-step problem. So that's what makes it harder. So a binomial cubed means it's a parentheses multiplied 3 times. So just like the other one, the very first thing you're going to do is rewrite this. A plus B, A plus B, A plus B. Now, it doesn't matter if you multiply the first 2 first or the last 2 first. It's the same answer because they're the exact same. So we're going to do that. So A plus B times A plus B is A squared plus AB plus AB plus B squared. That's what we just did on the previous page. So again, I'm just foiling 2 of them. Then, if I replace the first 2 with what I just solved for, now, this is a problem similar to what we did in 6.4, I think, where we had 2 terms and 3 terms. Remember I showed you the box? So this is a good one to use the box on, okay? So when I draw my box, the first one has my 3 terms, so A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. The other one has 2 terms, so A plus B. And now I'm going to multiply, remember each one. So A squared times A is A to the 3rd. 2AB is 2A squared B. AB squared is the next one, so AB squared, or B squared times A, it's the same thing. A squared times B. 2AB times B is going to be 2AB squared. And then B squared times B is B to the 3rd. And then you remember, you go and you find my like terms. So when I combine them, I get A to the 3rd plus 3A squared B plus 3AB squared plus B to the 3rd. And that's it.
It's faster, like, are there more tests?
All right, let's go do number 4 real quick. Number 4 has numbers in it. Sometimes that makes it easier. So the very first thing I'm going to do is what? Rewrite it. X plus 4, and X plus 4. Number 3. Did I say 4? Yes. My bad. Sorry, we're doing number 3. This is similar to the one that I'm going to give you on the quiz and the test. It's going to have a number in that second slot. So the first thing I'm going to do is 2 of them, okay? So we're going to FOIL that. I want you to do it on your own, then look up and see if you got it right. All right, then I'm going to do my box. So x squared plus 8x plus 16.
Do we have to do the box?
X plus 4. If you like to just to do the distribution method, that's perfectly fine. You do not have to do the box. So I have x squared times x, which is x to the 3rd. And then 8x times x, so 8x squared. I'm going to put a plus in front of that. 16 and x, so plus 16x. x squared plus 4, so plus 4x squared. 8x plus 4, so plus, sorry, I said plus times 32x. And 16 times 4 is 64. Now I combine my like terms, so my final answer, x cubed plus 12x squared plus 48x plus 64.